let's get this class started. BeanSoldier, Archaic Rage, Game 1 of Finals. Let's begin.
Is BeanSoldier going to hit all those mills? Are we going to see some of those pop-off turns? Is Archaic Rage going to just be able to have a consistent, constant game plan? And to the point of the consistent, constant game plan, Astrabbit turn 1. What? I mean, has anything ever changed?
Nothing has ever changed. All roads go back to base set. You can't tell me otherwise. I love it. Turn 1 Astrabbit. At this point, it just feels comfortable to see it. Like, I feel like we've all gone through the throes of all 2-5 because we're now all grown as competitors, as casters in the Elestrals TCG to know how to deal with an Astrabbit. So no one's really worried about it, but it's still like, okay, let's get over this. And not to mention, if the back row isn't set up to support Astrabbit, nowadays, a simple Eddie can do it. So let's see how this goes as BeanSoldier draws their first card of Finals. And I love that Morphos is his first play.
That is a very good card to contest this Astrabbit. Lichen form, searching Scorpio, and bat form. Normal cast, Scorpio, pitch, bat, target, Astrabbit is all you need to see if you are BeanSoldier here. That sets you up incredibly, not only to take out this Astrabbit, but also for a future turn potentially to set up an ascension into something like an Asprowl. And there is the Scorpio form pitching the bat form and targeting the Astrabbit. Archaic Rage looks like they don't have a response, so Bat is going to go ahead and bring out this Lichen form. BeanSoldier might Frost Enchant it, might Water Enchant it to go ahead and play on Tsunami as well here. BeanSoldier playing to every single out possible, setting 2 back row, and this Scorpio form is going to connect with this Astrabbit that has 0 defense, and the Lichen form will swing for 1 damage.
What a potent turn 1 play for BeanSoldier. Not only building wide, but having 2 back row to support the front. Those face downs could be Tsunami, it could be Gorgon's Gauge, PTA, whatever it may be. It is something that Archaic Rage does not want to see. No Fire Elestral cast out by Archaic Rage yet, but a second Astrabbit is going to hit the field, getting a search in the top 3, and fortunately not meeting a PTA from BeanSoldier's back row.
It's not super surprising to me. Historically, BlueStacks does not play PTA since it is not the kind of card that is going to be proactive enough or react enough either that to something like what the quality that a BlueStacks deck needs. And so BeanSoldier now needs to have that 2-drop in hand that outs the Astrabbit here, whether it is the Moralith to go ahead and hit over this by ascending over the Scorpio form, Asprowl potentially. Those are going to be the main 2 things that we're looking for, and it really is just, does BeanSoldier have them, or are we going to spend a turn kind of just staring at each other while BeanSoldier looks for an out?
I imagine that BeanSoldier is going to be pushing forward one way or another, and we see Boomerlinks being cast out. That is going to get a search of either a Mountains of Boreas or a Blizzard, and I am unaware of what BeanSoldier could be playing because unfortunately I missed the round 6 match. But we are going to see Mountains be added to hand. We do know that Archaic Rage is playing Volcanic Forge in main deck, so they're not without an out in this game 1. But it's something you need to be aware of, because if you cannot find your forge, then all of these little Elestrals, they're looking just a little bit bigger and a little bit more threatening.
And BeanSoldier just passing the turn after that, not even playing the Boreas. So Archaic Rage is going to have an opportunity here to try and develop their board, and they're going to do so with that Volcarius Champion of Hephaestus, searching out Hephaestus from the deck.
It's possible that the Mountains wasn't played just to psychic damage. I want you to know I will out your forge when you play it. I don't need this, but if you do it once, because Frost is typically bigger than Fire in terms of stats. So now I'm letting you know, you try to get over me once, I'm snapping you right back to reality. The Volcanic Forge is going to search out the Hephaestus, and Hephaestus is going to search out an artifact. But what artifact are you going to find here? I guess any one can work. So I believe Hammer of Hephaestus is main deck, but in this game state, Torch still seems appropriate, right?
Yeah, this is definitely a search for Torch of Hestia since it generates card advantage. The Hammer is something that could be better late game, where maybe you have more artifacts, you have more runes on the field, which would allow you to then generate more attack on the Hephaestus buff. The Torch of Hestia is going to be really solid, making this Volcarius a 6 attacker while also foretelling 3 on attack. And now this is where we see, does BeanSoldier know to Tsunami before we move to battle phase?
Let's find out. We're going to see if there's an attack declaration or at least an attempt to move into the battle phase. 2 face down set. This is a board that we have seen very consistently from Archaic Rage. Like, this is not a board that he's like, yeah, this is brand new. I've never been in this position. Like, there have been comfortable board states where it's like Archaic Rage is ready for whatever and whoever. So looks like we're just waiting for the players to get that. We do have, I'm assuming, an attack going to be declared. And Shield of Achilles on the champ. So it's going to allow the foretell for a Cryoblast, a Necruff, and a second Necruff, it looked like.
Yeah, that is something that if you're BeanSoldier, you are very happy to see. 2 Necruffs is not doing enough into your likely very large board shortly here. And the Cryoblast literally doesn't affect your deck. Yeah. So you do not care if that card is seen. And Ascension over the Scorpio form. Are we seeing Aspera? Are we seeing Morolith? What is going to come out here?
Morolith, calling it. Hey! Morolith. The full art Morolith from Shattered Stars is hitting the field, giving a mill of 5 unless a Gorgon's Gaze is there to meet it. Archaic Rage is looking over their face down and their hand, trying to consider what are their best options. We have a mill, Cedar Sword, Snowlit, Gaze, Shield, and I missed the first mill.
There's another Morolith. It was Morolith, Gorgons, Snowlit, Shield, and Cedar Sword here. This is an insane board immediately. This is a board in a box right here. Morolith getting out another 2-drop. The Boreas in hand now says, my board will kill this Aster Rabbit. I am swinging for minimum 2 damage here because both the Morolith and the Cedar Sword will contest this Aster Rabbit. And this damage will go through here.
Do we have a Tsunami? A Shield to bet. Oh, a Cedar Sword in hand is not what you want to see, but that is really good for Archaic. Just get that back in the hand. BeanSoldier still having other cards to contest with. Let's see what else is going to happen. We have 2 damage or 2 spirits expended from the, or 3 actually, from the Shield. Morolith running over the Astrabit. And I'm assuming the Lack of Void and Brumma is going to go in. So that is 5 spirits gone from Archaic Spirit deck in this one turn. And Spirit Advantage is quickly in BeanSoldier's favor.
Yeah, that is exactly what you want to see from the Morolith there. That is why you're playing the Mountains of Boreas. That's why he held on to it. There's no reason to lose that card early when you can set up such a big board out of nowhere with so much attack stat, able to out things like this Aster Rabbit. And we know Archaic Rage has that shielded Volcarius in hand, but that is not going to be enough into this board to contest it effectively.
So in this scenario, I mean, what exactly do you do, Archaic Rage? We do have the Volcanic Forge working out the opposite way of how I thought it would play out early on in this matchup, outing the Mountains of Boreas, but that's still not going to be enough to get over the 6-4 Morolith. You need to have a combo ready to go, and Champ Volcaries in hand is going to be one way to get that started. Assuming that Hephaestus is going to search Artifact as well, that can get you to a 7 to attack over the Morolith, assuming that face down by BeanSoldier is actually nothing to worry about. But knowing Josh, that's absolutely a counter rune that's playable right now.
The Hammer of Hephaestus is going to come out here. And that is going to mean this Volcarius is getting 3 attack just from the Hammer, plus an additional 1 from the Forge, meaning this is now an 8 attack Volcarius. This is a big statted Volcarius.
Huge power going up and just saying, hey, anything you can do, I can build up just as well. Volcarius, such a potent Elestral right now. I put it in my caster predictions for a reason. 8 attack right now, getting an attack declaration likely into the Morolith. But the problem here is that even if you go into the Morolith and get over it, you're still dealing with a potential Snowlit or an Aspral, because we have not seen either of those cards, the entire line of BlueStacks.
And it looks like the Morolith is going down to this Volcarius. That set card was not live from BeanSoldier.
Wow.
But if it's something like a Cryoblast, this is game. That's a Snowlit that hits the board, though.
All right,
we have not seen an Asprowl out of deck yet.
We don't know what's in hand. Like informed, Cedar Sword.
Cedar Sword Asprowl!
What a mill! 3 hitting 2!
It doesn't get better than this.
It doesn't. There's no Gorgon's Gaze that can stop this. You need more Gorgon's Gazes. Gorgon's Gazes gaze.
It's likely that BeanSoldier might opt to not use the Cedar Store effect here. It looks like he's considering how many spirits are in Spirit deck, and it might be too expensive to actually do both of these. It looks like we are going to go for the Asprowl, but Cedar Store might not be valuable enough here to actually get it onto board. It looks like we are just going to pass on that trigger, let it leave limbo. We're not going to actually use it.
That's shocking.
But we will go for the effect.
Looking like. We have a Lycan form, it's another Cedar Astrabbit, and Shield. The third Cedar is not going to be active, and now we know there's no more Cedar to even mill. One is in Josh's hand, thanks to Archaic Rage's Shield of Achilles.
Yeah, and we were not able to get large enough to deal with this Volcaries. There's no BlueStacks in sight. That is really rough here for BeanSoldier. Putting himself in as good of a position as possible. He's hit really good mills, but this is a gigantic Volcaries, and the Necruff coming out properly enchanted is going to put so much pressure here.
That new face down from BeanSoldier needs to be Tsunami to give them a chance.
If it is Tsunami, he wins the game, I think.
I would argue so as well. Looks like we're already considering it. The Necruff is properly enchanted, powered up by the Volcanic Forge. The attack is going to be declared, and the face downs, are they live? I believe this entire clash is determined on this play.
Tsunami!
Stellar Tsunami!
That's exactly what we needed to see for BeanSoldier here. Swapping all the non-water enchanted Elestrals. That Lycan form is water enchanted, my friend.
Wow, that Lycan form has been there since turn 2. Just been sitting there chilling.
Just been hanging out in attack position. And this, all of a sudden, like I said, Tsunami might be a game-winning play here for BeanSoldier as Archaic Rage passes his turn over to BeanSoldier.
So now let's see how this is going to play out. Looks like we're just reconsidering it. We have not seen any other Asprowl or Snowless or BlueStacks milled from the deck, so there is still plenty of power available. I think, going for the Morlith. Had to count it.
That's the third one.
That's the third one. Now we get a mill of 5 here. Narpoon, Vice. Is that BlueStacks?
Asprowl. That's the BlueStacks. Last card, BlueStacks.
BlueStacks going over the Asprowl, not needing Asprowl anymore. Also, think about that. If Asprowl expended, that would not have played out. It would have missed.
Yeah, last card BlueStacks. That means that there's got to be 2 more BlueStackses at the bottom of this deck right now. Looks like BeanSoldier just going to go ahead and rip that ability to bottom 3 Elestrals and pop a card non-targeting.
Bottoming 3 Elestrals in one opportunity is crazy, but it is absolutely what Josh is able to do right now, destroying a card. And we saw the face down being destroyed. Not sure what it was, but I don't think
it was a Reforge.
It was a Reforge.
I'm pretty sure.
So it was a dead, not a counter one at all. Not a counter, and we just run over everything here.
I think this is putting Archaic Rage to 0 spirits in Spirit deck and just the Hephaestus on board.
So not out the game yet.
Yeah, actually, it'll be 1 left, I believe, in Spirit deck as we swing for 4 damage here, 1 with the Lycan form and 3 with the BlueStacks. To 3 spirits.
Here's the draw. Let's find out what it is. How many cards are in hand? Not an immediate concession, so we're trying to figure something out. There is some sort of play available.
There is a concession there, though.
Yeah.
Wow. An incredible game 1 from these casters. The last card, BlueStacks on the Morlith, sealing it out for BeanSoldier game 1. And we move on to siding for these casters to see what they're able to do going into game 2.
Let's see how they adjust for this next matchup. We have an expend to draw. No, that's not what you want to see.
Yeah, I don't think that you can afford to expend to draw going first here.
No.
This is not a good position potentially. And starting off with the Brummelinks to search the Mountains of Boreas is absolutely massive.
Okay, PTA. That's actually, PTO and the Brummelinks isn't the worst thing in the world. You're not able to stop something like a Scorpio, but we also don't see Lycan form milling, discarding to search out Scorpio and Bat form as well. So
I think that if you're BeanSoldier, you see a PTA, say like, yeah, of course, waste your PTA on my Brummelinks. The game plan here, when we had Josh on the stream earlier, the game plan is I want you to kill my Brummelinks. I am just using this as a way to search my Boreas. Next turn, the Morolith is coming down. I'm milling 5. I'm hitting Cedar Sores. I'm swinging with 6s and 8s.
Well, the caveat there is I'm hitting Cedar Sores. We saw it happen tremendously in the last game, but will you roll lucky twice? Are you willing to pull that lever and roll that slots again? As Stravit is going to come out, looking at 3, I'm assuming 3 spirits in the underworld, and just asking which one am I getting back? Oh no, choosing the PTA. We have a fire spirit and a fire. So what are they getting back? Likely the fire spirit. Yeah.
No reason to not go for fire spirit here. You put the PTA in there, be like, come on, you know you want to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, go ahead, cast that as Sprout.
Yeah, I would love for you to give me the PTA back.
And just one set as well. Archaic, I believe, is just playing too conservative right now, playing too slow to really say, put on the pressure that you need against the deck like BlueStacks. As we see, Infrix!
And Frostix to bring back the Brummelinks. This will actually tell us, did Josh side into a second Mountains of Boreas? Because we saw previously that he did not activate these effects previously. The PTA coming down, the second one. This feels a little bit more profitable potentially, but it also might feel way worse because we could just ascend into Asprowl now. This PTA might just do nothing here, and we do get a second Boreas.
That poor Boomerlinks is looking like it went through Tartarus itself. So many arrow shots away. And there's the ascension. Archaic being punished immediately for their haste. Is the play. Do we see BlueStacks from the top 4? We have an expend there, and here goes the top 4. Narpoon, Cedar Sore, and Morphos Bat Form.
Hey, you said it won't hit Cedar Sore. He hit Cedar Sore.
Cedar was hit,
but he hit Cedar Sore.
That is another big body in the field, guaranteeing 2 damage on this one after a Sproul takes over the Ash Rabbit. And that face down hasn't even been threatened to be needed to be played yet. Archaic Rage is looking on the back foot and tripping backwards. As Mountains of Boreas, the first of 2 now, is being played.
Yeah, this is a very solid setup. Setting another back row. This Cedar Sore is now a 6-8, and this Aspro is a 9-6. An absolute beast of a bird coming in for 2 damage into Archaic Rage's Spirit deck. And BeanSoldier's passing feeling phenomenal from this position.
Let's see exactly how this plays out. And Earthquake. Okay, really good one up to see right now. Taking out the most threatening Elestral Asprowl. But, I mean, saying most threatening when you have to deal with a 6-8? Feels kind of bad.
Ambrosia as well. I don't know how I feel about the Earthquake here, honestly. Because Archaic Rage, yes, is taking out the most threatening thing in the form of an Asprowl. But if a BlueStacks lands, he might be kicking himself wishing he had kept that Earthquake for the BlueStacks. But then again, if BlueStacks never comes, you're kicking yourself for not ripping it immediately. It's kind of a tough spot to be in.
It's one of those situations where you have to assume I'm not going to let them get to the point where BlueStacks can't come down.
Oh no, we're expending to draw here again.
What is this hand that Archaic kept? I am so unsure of the situation right now. And there's the Lycan form. So now you have to worry about the Morphos Scorpio form and Bat form in hand, unless we already have a Bat form in hand. We do know that one Bat form was. We do know that one was milled. Yeah, I don't know if we're playing 2 in the list. Let's see, Scorpio and.
It's likely just the Scorpio. I don't think people are on 2 bats. I'd be surprised if we are. It looks like we are failing to find the second one. It isn't up to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely get the job done, assuming that there's another Morphos in hand, whichever one that may be. But now, we're still threatening too as Narpoon. So now we're getting a search of whatever Frost Elestral that we want. I assume it could be Snowlit, but we could see in Frostix as well if more than one is being played.
Yeah, I think that going for the Snowlit here is absolutely the right option. The Lichen Form searching just one feels kind of awkward. You're spending one to get a card that isn't doing a whole lot for you. But it is thinning your deck of cards you don't want to draw and you don't want to mill. And that's just what Narpoon is doing here as well. So now this Snowlet has a way higher probability of hitting what it needs to.
What?
We're going to Argo to make BeanSoldier spend 2 to a Necklace of Harmonia, I think. The win condition here now for Archaic Rage is saying, I'm going to make you burn 2 every single turn until you ascend over one of these Elestrals, but...
I'm assuming the Narpoon. Because you want to ascend over the Cedar Sword.
Yeah, I feel like there's a handful of decisions that have been made this game that I just don't really understand. I get wanting to burn BeanSoldier here, but you're taking what would have been 3 and making it 7 now.
Yeah,
because you're spending 4 of your own.
I tremendously disagree with this play. I get the idea. I disagree with it. But let's see how it works out. We could be completely wrong. We don't exactly know.
Actually, hold on. I've found the reason why this might actually be this. Actually, I've turned around. Archaic Rage is cooking ungodly. This is incredible. This is a burn 2 for BeanSoldier.
Right.
We normal cast Kinleo Nexus off, pop the Cedar Sword.
Okay.
This now allows us to play something like a Volcanic Forge, hit over Narpoon. We've cleared the board with just 1 Elestral and a Stadium.
With 3 cards in hand, I mean, I guess it's not impossible. We have not seen Kinleo or Forge.
I think that bare minimum there has to be a Kinleo in hand, because making this play otherwise feels very strange to me. But going for Kinleo here could be what puts you in a game-winning position.
You're so smart!
Off the back foot. Kinleo, absolutely, this play makes sense. I think that this is a very smart play. It seems our initial reaction, what are we doing? This doesn't make sense. It absolutely makes sense. BeanSoldier needs a Gorgon's Gaze here.
It goes back to what I said earlier. Games are so different when you're playing behind the cards versus our top-down view. So you're absolutely right. And there. Oh, oh, coming out! Firestorm! Showing up for BlueStacks! Incredible!
Both of your casters are out of their chairs! This is insane! Oh my god! So, to catch everyone up, Monsoon of Eurus, brand new card in Firestorm, and it reads, you can cast this enchant up to wind and water from your spirit deck to your field. Suppress all cards on field that are not wind and water enchanted. That will allow this Kinleo to Nexus, because I believe it was used in response to the effect of a Nexus. But the effect to pop cannot happen because Kinleo is suppressed when that trigger would go onto chain. This is insane. The Ambrosia going to come down. Try and stop the bleeding. Oh my god.
I was gone. I spun my entire chair around.
Yeah, you got up, you turned your lights off, you turned it back on.
It was a whole pop off, man. But that's what I'm saying. Like, games do not matter. Like, we're talking from an eagle view. We can't see what's in their hands, what's face down, and anything. Both of these castles are cooking with their decisions right now. But Monsoon of Urus, man, what a fantastic card. Not just in general, but BlueStacks hurting with it. Oh, man.
That is insane. And Monsoon of Eurus is also really interesting tech, because you could enchant to something like a Brummelinx, a wind, and then ascend to a BlueStacks as a result. Like, you can do some crazy, nasty stuff like that. And Archaic Rage forced to pass after that play. BeanSoldier draws, plays that Snowlet that we searched off of Narpoon, and we hit Aspel Cedar Sword. Are you kidding me?
Unreal.
There's no way.
Just wrap it up. We're not going to cast the Cedar Sword due to spirit count, but just
we
the
could.
fact that you hit it. We could. You're right. If you want to just go past it, we can just go
Josh
all
is
in.
doing the math right now. This currently is 4 damage on board. You ascend to Aspel is 5. 2 more is 7. We can put Archaic Rage down to
Cedar Sword is being cast.
Just 1 spirit.
And now the Espral is going to go down to 1 more. You
We're
can't
water enchanting the Asprowl. We're going down to just one Spirit and Spirit deck, I think, maybe two. Setting a card.
7
Narpoon?
spirits on board.
Narpoon
Narpoon
over, and we
goes-
swing
that's
6.
That's you need to what do you do?
I'm speechless.
What do you do here? Swinging for 6.
That what a turn of events. What a series of plays.
Oh,
Ambrosia! Last
We are
Spirit
not done
Ambrosia!
We are not done yet. Archaic Rage has life. There is a pulse. Everyone hold.
Eruption for game!
What?
No way!
Eruption for game! What is going on? What is going on?
I cannot believe it. There's no way.
Game! What is this game? I'm speechless. I am speechless.
I have no words. I have no words.
This is the best game 3 ever.
I
Elestrals
knew
is
that.
so good.
We can hop into game 3 and we can
I'm
find
not
out
ready.
who our first champion is going to be for the first premiere for Firestorm. Let's hop in. Let's see what these casters are going to do. BeanSoldier undoubtedly going first here. Lycan, discard, expend a Frost is exactly what you want to see. If we start Morlith Lycan form, I will pop off once more. There is no way this man opens like that in the 3rd game of finals after getting Eruption for game. I will lose all speech.
Honestly, that would be apropos. That'd be the protagonist powers right there. If we get Lycan form Morlith, and we have not seen it 2 turns already, so don't cut out the possibility. We just saw Ambrosia Eruption. So I will not take anything off of the impossibility. I'm just going to sit back. I'm not even going to worry about anything else. I'm just going to watch these casters do what they do, and that is a premier pack champion of Kyo and Broomerlinks getting cast out to search out the Mountains of Boreas right now.
Yeah, that is a very good start here from BeanSoldier. Thinning the deck by 3 cards means that those mills will just be even higher quality every time he activates one of these mill cards, whether it is the Snowlits or the Boroliths. All these cards are just going to have a higher probability to hit. And if he can back this up with a back row, it would be great, but he does not have one. So Archaic Rage going to be on the play here to try and figure out something that can deal with this board. And a Warmite is a great start here.
First time we're seeing Warmite from Archaic Rage's entire set, but this is a good way to get over this Boomerlinks without doing too much else. But once again, just a conservative play by Archaic Rage, just one face down. We've seen a lot of PTA from Archaic. Is that what is face down waiting for BeanSoldier on his next cast?
And if it's a PTA and a Morlith here, I don't think that BeanSoldier can be too beat up about that, especially if he Morliths into a Cedar Sword.
Let's find out how that goes, because that could actually be the potent strategy that you need. So
I think a really good option here is El Diablo. Going for the Snowlit, milling, puts Archaic Rage in a really tough spot because you have to try and PTA, but it is going to be the Morlith. Is that a PTA in the back row?
And looks like it's being filled up. Wow, that is a PTA in the back row. As you said, you can't be too mad at that. It's Cedar Sword for Snowlit, Morlith, Cedar Sword, Tsunami, and I think that's a Blistrix.
That is the second Blistrix we've seen this entire game, and it is in the Underworld. But this Cedar Sword getting out is going to be massive, and we're putting Archaic Rage already quite down. This is 3 spirits of damage on board, as well as paying 2 out for the PTA, meaning that on the whole, Archaic Rage has spent 7 spirits this turn.
Absolutely phenomenal damage for BeanSoldier in this one. And I mean, if you're playing Eruption, having Josh being able to play so conservatively and get this much power and presence on the field, this is not how you need to be playing. So Archaic needs to turn up the gas and get that fire burning much faster in this next turn.
Yeah, this is a very, very strong turn from BeanSoldier. Sorry, it's 6 spirits of damage coming out of Archaic Rage. So they are going to go down. They were at 18 after the PTA cast. They're going to take 3, spend 2. They're going to go down to 13 spirits here, I believe.
Fire and Thunder going to the underworld leads me to believe that there's not even an Astrabic to try to help Archaic just shore up here.
Yeah, especially with the 6-attack Cedarsaur on board, Astrabbit is just not going to be enough unless you've got like a Volcanic Forge in hand to out that Boreas.
I'm calling it now. If we see Rise on the underworld,
Resting.
Oh, okay. Resting is pretty solid. That's actually a great way to get over that.
That is a good option here to try and equalize, and that has put Archaic Rage in a really good spot.
Right now, we're just waiting on how's it going to play. But I mean, if BeanSoldier can play out Rise to get back the Blizzards in the underworld, it's a really scary spot to be in. Defense position Astrabic on an open board. What does that tell you about how Archaic is feeling about the hand right now?
I think that he needs to add a counter rune off the top here. Puts a third card in their hand. Probably doesn't have something that is offensive enough, like a Volcaries, or doesn't feel like it's worth playing into this board state.
Well, I think BeanSoldier has something offensive enough, and that is just getting Blizzards out tremendously in this next turn. We already saw just how potent that can be. So I feel like in a Astrabic with no counter runes, this isn't any. Wait, isn't Scorpio form in hand?
Yep. Scorpio form is in hand. I was just about to say it. This Astrabbit is not long for this world, and we are setting up a very strong turn here. Scorpio form, discard Bat, target Astrabbit to set its defense stat to 0, and then Bat form, because it was discard, is going to bring back this Lycan form with a water underneath it. And we might set a back row, but we're certainly swinging into this Astrabbit with the Scorpio form and one direct with the Lycan form, putting Archaic Rage down to 10 spirits here.
Just playing a really slow and steady game, but be wary of that spirit count. We are equal, nearly equal, 10 to 11. Board is definitely in BeanSoldier's favor, but I mean, one push at an offensive side could slide BeanSoldier through I would just say a triple eruption range. Like, I wouldn't even call it out. So just be mindful. Be mindful, young Tadflow.
Be mindful, young Tadflow. Archaic Rage playing out the Ash Rabbit, gonna target 3 cards in the underworld. Might just bring back a spirit, honestly. Probably with Ash Rabbit, a PTA, and the Warmite. I feel like those are 3 solid options out of the cards that have been played.
I think this is a known situation that Archaic may have expected to be in, so they chose Ash Rabbit for the consistent recovery. Resting is a really good target. Pretty much saying, I know you're not going to give me resting, so let me get a choice of the other two.
I don't think that resting is too bad of a choice for Josh to give Archaic Rage here, because the board is so insulated with these one spirit Elestrals that even if you end up going Morolith, it's not that big of a deal. But it looks like that Warmite is the least threatening of the bunch.
A terrifying spirit count in Archaic's favor. Got to make sure that it doesn't get much more out of favor for him. But right now is BeanSoldier's turn. One card is ready to be played. We're just trying to figure out what spirit will be enchanting it. Will it be an Elestral? Will it be a back row? Likely an Elestral. This is Blitztrix after all.
Waiting to see a Morolith. There it is!
This is terrifying. We get a mill of 3, but there's no Snorlax or Esplow on board right now. So right now we're aiming for a Cedarsaur. That is Lycan Force.
There's a Cedarsaur. There's a second Cedarsaur. And there's a Boreas. This is
double Cedarsaur.
Second Cedarsaur won't matter. But this first one will put up so much pressure. You got a 6-8 and an 8-6 on board. These Elestrals are going to put up so much pressure. Here comes Cedarsaur swinging in and swinging 4 points of damage into Archaic Rage's spirit deck.
Knocking them down to 5. 5 to 7 is the spirit count right now. I believe that's all 3 Cedarsaurs seen already, right? And only 1 Blitztrix?
Yes, we had the one on board that was destroyed with the resting, and then we have seen 2 just now. There's all 3 Cedars out of deck. We've seen 1 Blitztrix in the early mills. I don't think we've hit a Snowlit or an Asprowl, though.
No, we haven't seen anything but the 1 Blitztrix. Otherwise, it's been relatively safe for BeanSoldier right now. At this point, considering the spirit count, you might just want to try to make do with what you have on board. Maybe aim for the Blitztrix if you have a Spiral in hand.
I think BeanSoldier, game plan, you don't cast anything from this position unless you absolutely have to. You don't even want to get within double eruption range.
Yeah, true.
Is this? I'm imagining this might be a Necruff here. That is the Warmite potentially going to try and deal with the Cedarsaur, I guess?
It's -3, so that would be a crash, but you're taking 1 point of damage for it.
Yeah, but it is the most efficient way to deal with the Elestrals on board, because otherwise, the Cedarsaur is cracking back next turn, the Morolith is cracking back next turn. You can out one of the other Elestrals. Maybe Argo is a consideration here for the response.
Somebody needs to check up Josh's sleeves. It's just pulling magic out in this matchup.
It reminds me of Trishula the Wizard from the Elestriad Season 2. His little cosplay he did, just showing up saying, watch me pull a Cedarsaur out of a Mill 5.
Exactly. Check the head. Is he wearing the wizard hat?
Nothing up my sleeve. Cedarsaur.
Nothing up my sleeve, but my card sleeve, though?
Yeah, within the card sleeve is a card. And that card says, when you cast this Morolith, Mill 5.
Mill 5. It says Mill Cedarsaur specifically, but you ain't gonna read the text.
Yeah. Everyone gets it. Everyone's been there. Looks like Hephaestus is coming down.
Yeah.
With 2-3 spirits? Is that
what?
Putting Archaic Rage at 1 currently?
What in the world is going on?
We're gonna disenchant, go search the torch, I imagine, and then Empower to Warmite, puts it to 5. That outs the Cedarsaur now, assuming that was what we minused. If it's Morolith, we crash. So it's got to be Cedarsaur. But if BeanSoldier has a Tsunami, the game is over. That is the only thing that he needs. And he's basically had these 2 back rows set this entire time, never been pressured to use them.
Never at all. So, I mean, this is a point where, as you said earlier, if you got it, you got it.
If you got it, you got it. The 2 spirits on Hephaestus are certainly perplexing to me.
Holding our breath for the attack declaration. We know that the Foretell is likely trying to find an Ambrosia to make it past this attack declaration.
No. Is Archaic Rage is going to try and play an artifact rune with a Divine Spirit, which he cannot do. Oh no.
Only invokes and counter runes, instant runes, can you use spirits on board in that manner.
The important thing for remembering this is if you could consider it a Nexus, i.e. you're going from one permanent to another, one continuous card to another, you cannot use it in a siphon for a rune. And this Ambrosia, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Okay. We got there. Okay.
Is in hand. We have a game on our hands.
So that'll allow this torch to be cast out. We can all wipe the sweat from our brow. I see, PK, you were doing it already.
Just did that. That's crazy.
I was saying it metaphorically. You were doing it literally.
No,
and now we will cast out. Now we will cast out this torch.
So we got there by way of.
Yeah, it just took a second, and we will assumedly go for this Warmite attack over the... I'm assuming the Cedarsaur was the target for the Warmite effect. It will be the most logical thing.
Yeah, we didn't see an actual target or anything regarding the Warmite, so assuming... I mean, it might have been on the Morolith, maybe the Cedarsaur, but the attack is declared. It is going to go over.
And it goes through. It was on the Cedarsaur.
The Foretell, that's going to reveal. Ambrosia on top, Argo, and Necklace. So
I think that's not enough, actually. I do not think that's enough.
Yeah, like how do you... I mean, you obviously stack Ambo, Argo, Necklace. Obviously. But like, how do you shuffle that up?
Ascending over the Lycan form, are we going to see an Asprowl?
Considerations being Thunder.
Thunder Spirit? Is this going to be a Thunder?
It's a Sprout.
Thunder, water.
Doing it for the body. But notably, that is not a fire. I feel like if there was a fire in the Spirit deck as an option, it would have been played right now.
Looks like we're going to set a face down. And I assume, yeah, this Aspro is swinging in. It is a 7. We don't mind it getting shielded here. We're going to Gorgon's Gaze it, paying off of the Torch of Hestia and one from Spirit deck.
So valuing the extra Spirit on Hephaestus. I'm guessing that there's a Kinleo in hand.
Now the Morlith will come in,
That's
swing
damage.
in for 1 damage. We'll swing 1 more damage.
That has to be it, right?
Yeah, this puts Archaic Rage to 0. Need Amber on top, which we know was stacked as a result of that Torch of Hestia.
And
We
there
can
we
go ahead, play that out, heal 3. We have just a card or 2 in hand.
So now it's sitting at 3 spirits in Spirit deck.
I think it is just 1 card in hand, and I don't know what would be able to get Archaic Rage there. Eruption is something,
That's a reveal,
but it is not enough.
As you said earlier, the psychic damage would not be allowed to damage twice. Like, that was information that Josh received. And thanks to the stalwart play, BeanSoldier is your champion of the first tournament of the Firestorm meta and qualifies for the Elestrals World Championship next year. Congratulations. What a fantastic set of matches.
And I am here with our first ever Firestorm champion, BlueStacks. BeanSoldier. Hello! How are you feeling? Congratulations!
I feel incredible. It's awesome. I'm so happy.
I mean, truly, if anyone could have made BlueStacks become a champion, I mean, I'm talking to him right now. Incredible run, incredible games. I was just telling you this before. I think maybe some of the best finals we've ever seen in the history of Elestrals.
It was insane, especially game 2. I really thought I had it. The eruption cinematic. It was perfect. Huge shout out to
my gosh.
Like my opponent. Like, they played their match incredibly well too. Like,
the eruption, the monsoon of Eurus. I think that
shout out to Monsoon.
Was that a side deck card? I
Yes.
was watching that and immediately I was like, I've got to ask this. Okay, so it was a side deck tech.
Yes, specifically for fire, or any deck that was playing Argo that isn't going to naturally enchant water or wind to the artifacts that they bring out of Argo. So, I'm glad it came up because that was the first time I sided it all day. So I was feeling pretty down on the card until literally finals.
And then it went absolutely crazy. Which, speaking of cards that we're maybe down on, cards that were maybe being given too much credit, insane that the tournament after Rise being limited to 1 is the tournament that BlueStacks finally wins. Do you think it was holding it back?
No, I think that Brutalings is like the craziest card of all time. Like, making the Morliths and the Cedar Swords 8s and 6s is the biggest game changer for that deck. It gives you a reason to play in Frostix. It gives you another starter in the deck. Like, Brutalings is one of the most custom cards for BlueStacks that I could have ever asked for.
I mean, the number
think even
of
if Rise
times
was at 3, I don't even know if I would play 3. I'd play the Brutalings over it.
And the number of times you started Brummelinks and were able to immediately get Morlith online and under the mountains, it was just, I mean, I've loved watching every single game from you today. And what a day it was. How are you feeling? You've qualified for Worlds. You are the first Firestorm champion. Tell me about it.
Honestly, like, it's so relieving to have like the Worlds invite already done. Like, I don't have to grind a ton. I was probably going to anyway, but now I can play more bears. Like, I'm so excited to play bears at like every single tournament from here on out.
You have no idea the joy you have brought me with that.
Right? No, I'm so excited that I got the win. The World's invite is done, and I get to play bears.
You get to play bears. You have earned it. My goodness. And I can't believe we are going to have next tournament Bears be the champion. Bears will be on screen here with us.
We're going to try. We're going to try.
Hey, I have to know. Obviously, there's been so much cooking going on for Firestorm. I know there have been a lot of threats that people have said, hey, these are the things we're worried about. We know that Like a Void is out there. We know that all of these Fire Nexus things are out there. What was the prep like, and what led you to deciding this is the time BlueStacks is going to go crazy?
Yeah, so I'll be real. The whole reason that I played this deck was to worry about Like a Void the least amount that I possibly could by just establishing the biggest guy on the board as fast as possible. Because I still have not come up with a good plan for a turn 1 Like a Void. And that happened a lot to me today. So I don't know. Like a Void is still like a huge powerhouse, and if your deck doesn't have a consistent way of beating it turn 1, then it might put you off of some other strategies that that you might have to cater to, if you know what I mean. Blizz is the deck that I decided to pick because I thought it dealt with Like a Void the best, and no deck in the game right now can easily deal with an 8 or a 9, also without Elechic. So
that's true. You were able to say, yeah, this was the time for, as you mentioned, the Brummelinks being released in Firestorm, making this deck crazy with access to mountains, and that was amazing to see. And this is, this is sort of a side personal note here. For those of you who don't know, Josh is actually the person who taught me how to play Elestrals in the first place. And so I feel like, you know, that's my professor, that's my coach right there. Do you have any words of inspiration for me, to be honest, but anyone here who's listening, who's watching? And I just want to hear about that and what you would say to people just starting out.
Yeah, honestly, I think the biggest thing to do, especially as like a new format comes about, is experiment. Try to play with everything. I think that the more familiar you are with a bunch of cards, the better you're going to end up doing in a tournament. And just find a close group of people that you share the same type of goals with in the Elestrals community, and try to jam games with them, whether they're casuals, whether they're competitive. Bounce ideas off of those people. I think one of the only reasons that like I've been as practiced as I have been is because I have a really close group of friends that I get to jam games with every day. And I hope that that is something that everybody in the Elestrals community gets to experience, is having that great tight knit group of friends that they can always practice with, have fun with, go to locals with, and get better at the game.
I love that. And that's, I think, one of the best experiences when it comes to Elestrals specifically is the community aspect, like you said, and the fact that you can build groups that you play regularly with. And I know that this has been such a long day for you. I have no doubt you were exhausted after all of that. So I will let you go, let you celebrate for the rest of the night. But before we do that, is there anyone that you'd like to shout out? Anyone you would like to thank for helping you get to this point, helping you win with BlueStacks?
Shout out to the Nimbugs, and of course, Trish, I have to shout you out for saying that Brummelinks is bad. So, but no, shout out to all the friends and the testing partners, and all the good stuff, the Cabal, all the good friends. So, yeah.
I love that. Huge shout outs to everyone. And Josh, again, congratulations. Can't wait to see you at Worlds. Can't wait to see you with Bears, even more so. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait. But thank you so much for talking with me. Incredible games all day today.